Radio Rahim here with Frank Warren. Deontay Wilder released a statement over the social media finally, showing some kind of respect, as fighters should, as we discussed up here after the fight. Sometimes that's too tough to do. But everything is up to Tyson now, what he wants to do next. And everybody's trying to sort out what he might want to do next. Give us some intel on where Tyson's mind is at.
I spoke to him yesterday. All he wants to do at the moment is spend some time with his family, with his children. He's been constantly training for 20 months. He was going to fight. That got called off. He then got caught COVID. The fight got postponed. And then he had the terrible situation with his young daughter, who was in newborn daughter, Athena. She was in intensive care unit twice. So that stops all the training. But he's been constantly doing it. So now it's quality time with his family. No rush for anything. It'll all pan out in the next couple of weeks or month, and then he'll make his decision as to what he wants to do. But there's no rush. No rush for him.
Well, he's made himself quite a star in the United States. Yeah. Everybody likes to be big over there on our side of the pond there. But now the British fans are a little starved to see their returning hero. What do you think the chances are that he'll fight here next, or will he make another stand in the States?
I'd like him to fight here because he's not fought here for a while, and I know the British fans would love to get him. See him back over here. But look, at the end of the day, as I've said earlier, it's his decision as to when and where he wants to fight and who he wants to fight. He'll make his decision. He's a massive star now in the States, but he's a massive worldwide star. I mean, all around the world, he's had tremendous feedback from that fight, from the different TV companies and so forth who broadcast the fight. It was a classic fight. Best live heavyweight fight I've seen. And I think anybody who saw the fight and bought into the fight, that's how it was. And it took two to do that. It took two to make that fight. And Deontay Wilder played his part in it. And thankfully, as you just said, he finally came out and acknowledged that the better man won on the night.
Before the fight, Tyson put out his hit list, so to speak. And according to the hit list, Dillian Whyte is next up. Now, we know Dillian Whyte's got the Wallin fight coming up at the end of the month. First of all, what do you make of that Wallin-Whyte matchup? And would Tyson hold his word and fight what has to be considered the number one WBC contender for, 3 or 4 years now?
Well, first of all, as you say, Wallin and Dillian got to get the fight on. So the winner of that fight, if Wallin wins, there's a rematch clause. So Wallin won't be able to fight him because he'll be tied into a rematch with Whyte. And I think he's going to have a tough fight, Whyte. I think it's a tough fight for him. We will see. We'll see what he brings to the table. But you know what? Whoever wins, excuse me, and if Tyson decides to fight the winner or Whyte, for me, there is only one real winner in that fight, and it'll be Tyson. I think Tyson is head and shoulders above everybody at the moment. He's unbelievable. And he's not got a lot of miles on the clock. I think it's about 5.5, 6 years, out of 7 years, he was inactive for nearly 5 of those. So it's not like he's been doing a lot. He was doing a lot in between. What with COVID and when he had that time out, nearly 3 years out of the ring. So, listen. Tyson's the sort of guy may turn around tomorrow and say they want to fight again. And if he wishes to do that, that's how it is. But
do you think there's any likely chance of that? You mentioned that as a possibility before the fight.
Look, whatever he wants to do, that's his choice. I mean, he's the guy getting in the ring, and I'd support, from my perspective, whatever he chooses to do. But he's a fighting man. He loves boxing, and he's shown for him boxing was a bit of his, for want of a better phrase, word, his saviour in all the problems that he had. He got him through everything, and he's in. I mean, he seems again he's in great condition, physical condition. And he told me yesterday he was going to get back into keeping on a diet and then maybe do a little bit of light training, but there's no rush for anything. This will all pan out, and he's the man. He's the man holding all the cards. He's the guy sitting at the table with the best hand.
Well, people sometimes don't realize that this is actually his first title defense. Yeah. The first time he's ever defended a world title, and we know he had big troubles after winning the titles the first time. And if he's talking about being with his family and this type of mindset, does it concern you at all that he might lose the plot there and decide boxing's not for him?
No, well, listen, that wouldn't concern me. What would concern me if he went back to if he sort of slipped back to how he was, but I don't think he will because I think he's in a good place. He's got a very strong family, got a very strong wife behind him, and he's got responsibilities to them, and he knows that with his children, and he's in a good place now. He's in a really good place. At that time, he wasn't in a good place. He had a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes that I know about, and it wasn't good for him. He felt that he'd been let down in some places and so forth. But at the end of the day, now he's in a good place. Plus the fact he's a winner. It's not like he's not having to go away and think about Deontay Wilder, like when he got beat. How did that happen? I mean, how do I get over that? What am I going to do? He's not in that position. He was the guy that came through. He's the guy that prevailed. He's the guy that had the will to win and did what it took to win in a very, very tough, exciting, brutal at times fight. That's what he did, and that's what he is. He's a fighter.
And Tyson Fury's always had that fighter's mentality. Felt like he's had to scrap his way to opportunities.
No one's giving him anything. No one's giving him anything. His life was in that ring. You look at that fight, the ups and downs. That's how his life was been. And it was like that canvas was like painting his life on the canvas. He was performing on the canvas, and it was he was up, he was down for a couple of counts, but he got up again and came through, and that's what he's made of. He's a true warrior, a true fighter.
Radio Rahim with Frank Warren. Always a pleasure to talk to you. I'm grateful for the opportunity.